Summertime sadness. Let's get this set up, bro. Hello, bruvs. We're back with new book arrivals, number 274, I believe. This is brought to you by Night Owl, Elysian beer. Not really, but look at that golden color. And also my owl lamp. Look at those eyes. Those are pretty damn real. Maybe I should just do this. Have my owl talk. Oh, that's right. His nose is busted off. Forgot. He needs a rhinoplasty. Summertime sadness. Is it summertime yet? Yeah, it's officially summer. Look at my little nook. How cute. Pitchfork. You come down there to get me while I'm sleeping, you're dead. You're dead. I'll stab you to the throat. I know most booktube channels, it's basically just some medium hot chick who just throws up a book and then talks about how she feels. Luckily, I have no feelings for books. All right. Oh, well, that's right. We got to put new book arrivals. New book arrivals. Hell yeah. All right. Got that saved. We'll turn off the volume, open the chat, see what happens. All right, bruvs. We're back with new book arrivals number 274. This is a nice one that I already have. But since it was, I guess it wasn't cheap. I paid $1 for it, but this is a great cover, you have to admit, even though it's scholastic. I don't know if it's abridged. Probably isn't abridged. Robert Louis Stevenson first dreamed a wonderful nightmare. He called it The Story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He wrote the first manuscript in 3 days and then threw it into the fire because it so horrified his wife. Painfully rewritten, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde became the sensation of its day, and its characters a lasting synonym for the good and evil in every man. As I said, the only reason why I got it was because of the cover, which is pretty cool. This cover of The Hobbit is not so cool, but it's vintage. The hell was that sound? Probably just someone breaking in. What is a Hobbit, bro? What year is this book? Ballantine Books. 1972. Look at those fucking reprints. Was it really published in 38? What do you got, bruv? Let me open the chat channel. Channel chat on the computer so I can actually see this. I don't have to look in the... I love your channel. Thank you, buddy. I love my channel too. We're all in love with it. The Hobbit. It's 1970s paperback edition. Never read J.R.R.R.S.T.U.V. Tolkien, but I probably never will. This I also found in another book, The League of the Little Flower, but I just kind of stuck it in that book because I'm a piece of shit. Werewolves in Their Youth, Stories by Michael Chabon, I believe it is. And I only know that because I watched a channel that I follow. They covered the book. I've never heard of this book before. Apparently it's to do with Pittsburgh, where Chabon is from, or he went to college or whatever. He lives in Berkeley, California. But apparently he went to Pittsburgh for some reason. Maybe Penn State. See, the mysteries of Pittsburgh and Wonder Boys. Hello, son. I may read this, I may not. Fatima, Russia, and Pope John Paul II. What is this? What do we got here? Oh, it looks like somebody's they made their own bookmark. Cool, buddy. Yeah. So apparently Pope John II, which I think was the guy who stayed in until he was like 98 years old, right? He could barely move. Is that the guy? Anyway, he was shot on the day of the anniversary. Yeah, that was him. He was shot on the day of the anniversary of I think the first sighting of Fatima. I'm not really sure who Fatima is. I have probably 10, 15 books on Fatima and all of these different, whatever they are. How Mary intervened to deliver Russia from Marxist atheism. May 13th, 1981 to December 25th, 1991. Revised edition. So yeah. This book is the first full-length, not half-length, full-length account of how the end of the former Soviet Union is attributable to the hand of God through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. So is Fatima the Blessed Virgin Mary or an embodiment of her? Is it like the ghost of the Virgin Mary? Or is it her spirit? Let's keep reading. The author shows how the events in Eastern Europe are connected to the request and prophecies Our Lady made at Fatima in 1917. So the Blessed Virgin Mary is Fatima? What's the name Fatima even mean? Like I said, I have a bunch of books on this just because I consider it paranormal. Although a lot of people hate religion because I guess they're afraid. But yeah, I mean, without religion, we probably wouldn't have most of the paranormal stuff we have. Considering modern paranormal, whatever you want to call it, the field of modern paranormal studies was basically founded by the spiritualists of the 19th century. I know what that sound is. It's morons shooting off fireworks. What's today, the 22nd? And they're already shooting off fireworks. Our Lady made at Fatima. Oh, so Fatima, Our Lady of Fatima. And he describes authentic spiritual signs and testimonies that clearly demonstrate. Let me stop this. That demonstrate Mary's presence at key turning points. So they're saying that Mary is with certain people in spirit. All right, makes sense. If you believe it. This is a little box set, Life in the World Unseen. More about Life in the World Unseen and Here and Hereafter by Anthony Borgia. The Citadel Press. It's 3 hardcover books. I think it's from the 1950s. Paid $5 for it at the local library, which I think is a good deal. I don't particularly believe in the afterlife, but there you go. It's cool little volumes in a little box. Beowulf and Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Does that say Steve McKemp? Poems of 2 great eras with certain contemporary pieces, newly translated by Gordon Hall Gerold, professor of English, Princeton University. At 2 periods previous to the 16th century, writers of English composed works of major importance, poems of such merit in each case that they were unrivaled at the time in other European literatures, and have never lost their power to stimulate the minds and imaginations of readers. I bought this to keep, but it's worth some money. Not a lot, but probably 15 or 20 bucks. And so I will most likely sell it along with this Sarah Maas book. There's the first edition of Thomas Harris's The Silence of the Lambs. At least I think it's a first. I don't think it's a true first. I think it's a second or third printing. Yeah. See, it's got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So it's probably a fourth printing of the first edition. But still a first. And I only paid $1 for it, even though it lays flat in certain parts. And you can see the spine has a vagina, so that's not good. But for $1, it's worth it. I've never read it, obviously. I've seen the movie. I wasn't particularly impressed with the movie. I did like the one. What was the movie where Hannibal fucking did surgery on Ray Liotta's head and ate his brain while he was still alive? That was a pretty good one. I've never read the books. I really have no intention to, but this is a cool cover. The Silence of the Slams. These two, actually, there's 3. At the store I got these at for 70 cents a piece. They had about, I think, 40 of these media guides from the early 2000s. I picked up the ones that are, this one, obviously, I'm from Detroit, so I would pick that up. This one probably has, what? Luke Robitaille was on the, oh, he was on the Kings. What? What's that mean? That's their, what does this even mean? Oh, that's just future pens. What does that mean? Oh, I see. I think it's just stars of the league. Darius Kasparaitis. Yeah. So I picked up these. Obviously, the Florida Panthers just won the championship, so I should probably try to sell this one online. 70 cents. But tomorrow, this same store has a 50% off sale, so I'm probably going back to get the other 30 different ones from different teams. And they'll be 35 cents a piece, so 30 times that's what, 10 bucks. I get 30 guides that I don't really need, but what do we need? Donald motherfucking Goines. A Kenyatta novel. Crime Partners. Machiavelli was my tutor. Donald Goines, my father figure. Tupac Shakur. Donald Goines was a blaxploitation writer. I believe he was murdered. Him and his girlfriend were murdered at the end of their lives. He was born in Detroit, Michigan, which makes him even more interesting to me. As you can see, his last 2 novels were called Dope Fiend, the story of a black junkie, and Whore Son, the story of a ghetto pimp. He was a drug addict, so that could have been why he was killed along with his girlfriend. But I'll read you a page or two just so you get a feel of what Donald Goines is about. Joe Green, better known to his friends and acquaintances as JoJo, poured the rest of the heroin out of a small piece of tinfoil into the wild Irish rose wine bottle top that had been converted into what drug users call a cooker. His common-law wife Tina watched him closely. Damn, JoJo, I sure hate the thought of that being the last dope in the house. The last time your slow-ass connect said he would be here in an hour, it was the next day before the motherfucker showed up. Shrugging his thin shoulders philosophically, JoJo didn't even glance up at his woman as he replied, That's one of the few bad points you run into when your connection doesn't use. They don't understand that a drug addict has to have that shit. At certain times, it ain't like a drunk. When Joe Chink says it's time to fix with no shit about it. Jojo, you don't think the bastard will do us like he did last time, do you? She asked, her voice changing to a whining, pleading note. God damn it, Jojo yelled as he patted his pockets. I ain't got no motherfucking matches. He glanced around wildly, his eyes searching in vain for a book of matches on one of the trash-covered end tables. The house they lived in was a 4-room flat. You could enter by either door and stare all the way through the house. The back door led right into the kitchen, which went straight into the dining room or bedroom, whichever you wanted to call it. The bed came out of the wall, Murphy bed style, and could be put up into the wall after use, but never was in this particular house. After the dining room came the front room. Here there had been some sort of effort to gain a partial amount of privacy with a long, filthy bedspread that had been tacked up and stretched across the room, separating them. Actually, there were two different bedspreads, each nailed to the ceiling. When a person went between the rooms, he parted them in the middle and stopped through, using the same way you would a sliding door. The House of Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I seem to be finding this book a lot lately, and probably going to watch a movie on this soon, just because I don't feel like fucking reading it. And people, the movie ain't the same as the book, but you know what? The movie's close enough. Can't read every book, and considering that I have about 8,000 books now, I'm never going to be able to read all these motherfuckers. Look at this. We even got some little illustrations by David Frampton. Afterward by Henry James. I didn't know they were bros. The Pinchin God. And so yeah, just a Reader's Digest edition, but I got it for 99 cents, so you can't really beat that. I mean, you could beat it, but you're not going to. This I got for 50 cents because green tags were on sale. And I plan to sell this book, The Ravenous Dead, Gravekeeper number 2 by Darcy Coates. Kara, hired as Blighty Graveyard's new groundskeeper, lives surrounded by the dead. They watch her through the fog. They wordlessly cry out. They've been desperately waiting for help. Moving on, and only Kara can hear them. But not every restless spirit wants to be saved. Ain't that a goddamn shame? Circle of Sisters. Alice Kipling, Georgiana Byrne Jones, Agnes Pointer, and Louisa Baldwin. Author of Inside the Victorian Home by Judith Flanders. Obviously a book about the relatives of Alice Kipling, who was obviously Rudyard Kipling's wife. And I probably wouldn't have got it, but while I was sorting books before I went to work, where I stopped at a library before going to work, I saw this book and I'm just like, I just was looking at Kipling, so I've got to pick it up. And so I did. And that's how things go. Thomas Harris, Hannibal Lecter. This is a first edition, but obviously it's in not great shape. I don't know if this is a true first, but it's a first printing. As you can see, it's got some problems. I think the corners are torn up and the jacket's got a couple rips. But altogether, not a bad first edition. It'd be much better if it was signed, but tisn't. Y'all know Hannibal. But I'm trying to collect first editions of everybody, even if I don't read their stuff. And now I have a first edition of Hannibal and what's it called? Silence of the Lambs. A Devil and Her Love Song 2 by Miyoshi Tamori. Used to get these for my child, but said child seemingly is not into manga anymore. Drawing, yes, but not reading it. Or maybe I'm just finding the wrong stuff every time I send the text and say, hey, you want this book? And it just sends back, I don't know what it is. So I think my child has run the course of reading manga. Probably have like 50 or 60 manga books. I don't, like I said, no interest in this subject, but my kid liked it at one time, so. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And like the other two books by her, I have, what's it called? The Crown of Midnight and Queen of Shadows. I'm going to sell it. This, according to the cashier lady at the Salvation Army thrift store, said this book's brand new. It's 2015, so it's not exactly brand new. I think she just meant it was a brand new book. Sarah Maas intrigues me about as much as punching myself in the fucking eyeball does. After soaking in the bath for nearly an hour, I found myself sitting in a low back chair before my room's roaring fireplace, savoring the feel of Alice brushing out my damp hair. Though dinner was to be served soon, Alice had a cup of molten chocolate brought up and refused to do anything until I had a few sips. My God. Who the fuck can read this stuff? I could sell it, though. Considering I sold about $70 worth of books in the last couple of weeks, I will sell this piece of fucking garbage as well. The History of America's Speedways, Past and Present. Again, like I said, it was a half-off sale for green tags at the local Step thrift store. So I got it. I might try to sell this if I can get something. If not, I'll put it on a shelf until I can sell it. If I can get $10 for it, that's all I need. I have zero interest in racing. Yeah, I don't care about racing. Just bought the book because it was $1 and I can read it. Or not read it, but sell it. Hoot, hoot. Haven't had beer in a while. James Joyce's Ulysses. Peregrine. Is peregrine a bird? Oh, yeah, peregrine falcon. A study by Stuart Gilbert, 16 June 1904. What's that mean? Is that when it was originally published? There's no way Ulysses was written before 1904. Oh, I see. Ulysses is the record of a single day, 16 June 1904. I read a couple pages of Ulysses and I was like, this is fucking dumb. But doesn't stop me from buying the explication on Ulysses. Considering I have a couple copies of Ulysses. Funny thing is, when I saw the movie Dubliners, I thought it was Dubliners. Fucking, it finally struck me the other day. Not the other day, but a couple weeks ago, I'm at the store and I saw the book and I'm like, is this Dubliners? Because I looked at the caption on the back and it said Dublin, the story of Dublin or whatever by Ulysses Joyce. Ulysses Joyce, Jesus Christ, James Joyce. And for all those years, I thought Dubliners was called Dubliners. That's how fucking bright I am. And lastly, but not yeastly, Unfinished Business, Mignon Brown. This is a lady. This idea of mine to write a book has long been on the back burner of my mind. I think of this book as life lessons learned from my experiences, some good, some not so good. What seems to prove true is that love and faith will get us through many a challenge. It was easier to present this work in a journal-like format, straightforward and truthful. I have been blessed with the passage of enough time to see the humor in some of my experiences. Detroit is a good place to be from. I grew up in Detroit when it was a beautiful, lively, and interesting city. I am a product of its educational system. Kindergarten through Wayne State University, master's program. Motown flourished, and so did I. I was there until the beginning of the end. After losing my brother, stepfather, and husband in Detroit, I escaped to Los Angeles, California. I continued my career as a special education teacher in Los Angeles and later in Las Vegas. In 2002, I retired after 40 years of teaching. Now, in 2011, at 71 years of age, I have found a new passion. So she would be what, 14 years older? So 85 at this point if she's still alive. And there were 3 copies of this, and I should have got them all because they were only 25 cents. But who knows if anyone ever read this book? Unfinished Business by, is it a memoir or? I want to say that I appreciate all the people who have left their footprints upon my heart. Some of them were easier to bear than others. Truly, people pass through your life for a reason. It may not be apparent at the moment, but sooner or later, the lesson they came to teach is learned. Sorority sisters, girlfriends, significant others, spouses, and children have all left me wiser in some way. Most never knew this book was underway. I surely hope no one is offended or hurt by my recollections, because certainly that is not my intent. I am only sharing my perspective of my life experiences and how they affected me. Nita has known me for more than 50 years. I've tried to keep this project a secret. She was made aware of it only when I thought I might not finish it. I wanted to be accountable to someone. She alone could ask me about my progress and not judge me. Another close friend who shares my literary interests encouraged me to stick with it and shared technical advice. Thank you, Bernie. Lastly, to my son and grandson, I want to say how grateful I am that you let me create this work without interrupting me as I sat for long hours working on the computer. Thank you, Russell and Omari. I wonder if this lady's still alive. What's her name? Mignon Brown. I'm going to look her up, see if she's still alive. I do plan on reading this book. I have a bunch of Detroit area novelist, like independent novelist books. So I would rather read a nobody's books for various reasons, but Mignon Brown. Let's see if she's still alive. She would be 85 right now. Mignon Brown. Obituary. That's not her. Let's see. Grace Funeral Home. It's crazy that this lady died at. I mean, what if she died right before the book? No, this she says. What year was this published, though? She was 71 when it was published. 2011, so I don't think that's her. Worcester, Mass. Alright, that's not her. Mm-hmm. Los Angeles. Let's see if she. What did it say? She lives in Las Vegas? Las Vegas. Las Vegas. Las Vegas, brother. Oh, that was it. I just saw it. Google Books. Wonder if she's still alive. Mignon Brown, Unfinished Business. Let's see if I can find. See if I can find her, bruvs. There's her book. Google Books. What? She fucking did an audiobook of this? The idea of mine to write a book has long been on the back burner. turn off this. There we go. Google Books, Unfinished Business, ebook, hardcover book, Media Mops. I don't know. Don't know if she's still alive, bruv. Well, like I said, she'd have to be 85 years old now if she is alive, so that's that. Let's see what the first page or so says. Is this her? Wait, she's got a... There's the acknowledgments page. Preface. It seems you become all-knowing after you reach your senior years, and you have lived, loved, and faced many challenges. I seem to recall a saying that when something like this... Youth is wasted on the young. I think about being 30-ish again, knowing what I know at 70-ish. What would I change or do differently? After all, I am who I am. I like me an awful lot, but there are some circumstances I wish I could do over. Like in that game of jacks, your best friends would allow you to have a second chance, do over. Take another turn when you made a mistake. If an unfortunate outcome was not your fault, you could get a second chance. Mostly just want to know where she's at now. It would be fun to choose some new characters, settings, and outcomes. Some family and close friends may catch a glimpse of themselves in this panorama view of my life. I'd like to take you with me, dear reader, as we travel through my life as I have recalled it, starting with my birth in Oklahoma City, growing up in Detroit and migrating west to Los Angeles and finally to Las Vegas. This book project began in Los Angeles when I was in my 67th year. It is an outgrowth of keeping journals for several years. It has been revealing to me as I get reacquainted with myself through the early years. Time can bring about I can't read this. All right, that's all, bruv.